Today I'm going to challenge myself to build a LEGO replica of the Koenigsegg Agera RS, as I've always dreamt of owning one, but well, I obviously don't have $2.5 million in the bank. And will I even be able to recreate the famous Koenigsegg doors? Let the challenge begin. So I kicked things off by working on the front, for which I already had some ideas in mind. And honestly, I hadn't even heard of the entire Koenigsegg brand until the Agera RS broke the speed record in 2017. Seeing that magnificent car in action really amazed me. So now, more than 5 years later, I finally thought, why not build my dream car in LEGO? I stumbled upon a cool trick with these claw pieces to create the headlights. They turned out to be super versatile while building my Lotus model, even though they can be a bit tricky to work with. Now moving on to the bonnet, we're using wax plates and tiles, and those sleek looking curved slopes up front are attached to these modified plates. And lastly, to represent the air vents, I used 2 of these quarter tiles. So I then started trying out some techniques to make the openable doors, and I actually took some inspiration from my Koenigsegg CC850 model, which I built almost exactly a year ago when I first started this YouTube channel. So this actually also is a sort of little anniversary. So I've managed to make the Koenigsegg style doors work by attaching a Technic axle to them, which then perfectly slide into these beams. The side mirrors are pretty interesting, using a skeleton arm with a quarter tile attached to it. And these antennas here are going to be the base for the windscreen. The rest of the sides are shaped using several slopes and arches. The big side air vents, they are built slightly inwards for added depth. Now let's dive into the rear end of the build. So I began experimenting with the rear, a challenging task given the bunch of small details and the overall rounded design, which obviously is pretty difficult to represent in LEGO. But after a bit of puzzling, I believe I managed to make it work. When it came to the taillights, I initially considered using a rubber band, but the problem was, with the car being red, it just blended in too much. So I had to get a bit creative, and I finally settled on these stacked modified plates. Then to further build up the rear end, I used some upside down building techniques, added some angled slopes and recreated the exhaust using a modified brick. Now let's move on to the final bit of the build by constructing the roof. So I took some Technic panels to build the sides of the roof, also called B-pillars. Then I built the massive rear wing using some bars, tiles and brackets. And finally I constructed the main part of the roof using lots of tiles and curved slopes. And just like that, the LEGO Koenigsegg Agera RS is completely finished. And I have to say that I'm pretty satisfied with the result. However, even though this is minifig scaled, the interior is very compromised because of the working doors. And I wasn't even able to add a steering wheel, so that might be a bit dull. But in my opinion, it's worth it. But let me know what you guys think of it in the comments. And just like always, I also generated some digital instructions, so you can build this model for yourself if you'd like to do so. The link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.